Quincy City Council President, Councilor at Large Noel DeBona, joining us again for another update on the October 2nd City Council meeting. How are you, Noel?
Good morning, Joe. How you doing?
Doing great, thanks. Beautiful start to October here for a change.
As I heard, it's going to be up to possibly 84 degrees today. So, 80, 82, 84. So that's fantastic going in, October 3rd with all that rain that we've had and kind of hurricanes coming through. It's really nice to have a nice fresher breath air, for the next couple days.
Absolutely.
Good report tonight, Joe.
So you're heading to the beach, right?
I wish I could. I wish I could.
I know. I hear you. How'd the meeting go last night?
Meeting was pretty good. We had a little bit more on the agenda than we usually do. Obviously, the first item on the agenda was the update of the Dr. Rick DeCristofaro Learning Center, which is our special education center that we have appropriated funding. So it's been a few years. We approved it before the COVID started, before March 2020, 2020. And it just came into fruition. We had Commissioner Paul Hines in there last night, Superintendent Kevin Mulvey, Assistant Superintendent Aaron Perkins. They gave us a nice overview and update on the opening of this, special education center. We're looking forward to it. October 22nd, if you put it on your calendar, we have an open house and let folks, it's going to be completed really. So we're looking at a couple weeks. As for kids getting into the school, they're looking for possibly maybe November-ish, late November, possibly December, but we're looking at January 2024. It'll be operating basically in the next month, which is fantastic. Obviously, we know it's mid-year for children. We're looking to bring back 50 children that are placed outbound, out of district. It'll save us $4 million with the process, which is fantastic. That's a huge, huge win for us. I thought it was going to be 150 to 185 students. I was very surprised to hear 350 students it can hold, up to 350, which is a fantastic number. That it's almost double of what I thought was going to be in there. And, over time, as the building evolves and you can try to get as many kids in there as possible. Brian LaRoche, as well as Tom Irwin, were in there last night. They were the team that was on the Southwest Middle School. They're also the team that are on here, Wesleyan Architects as well, that are part of the team to design and build and the engineering part of it. So they were in the city council chambers last night. We had a nice overview. Councilor McCarthy brought it in, and it was a win-win for all. So I'm looking forward to all this and saving funding over the years.
Will there be transportation provided to the new center, Noel? Was that talked about at all?
That was not really talked about too much. I would assume yes, because some of our special education students right now are currently getting transportation. I think it gives the family the option. If they're in between the center, this is obviously behind. It's on Old Colony behind the current Central Middle School. Some families like to drop off their children and they live in the vicinity of drop-offs, but some are outside the city. This particular school is right in the middle of the city. So I would assume the transportation will be provided. It'll give the parents the option if they want to do it.
Okay. And I know in the past you've talked about this is going to benefit your own kids, right?
Yes, it is actually. And I don't always talk about my own kids at these meetings, but yes, it will. Unfortunately, my child was at the learning prep in Newton, and he had been doing it for 5 weeks. They started in August, so he'd been there for 5 weeks, and it's just the transportation. He was getting picked up at 6:45 a.m., and it just wasn't working out. We tried to do the outplacement. He's in the 5th grade. He's got the dyslexia. He can't read, and today he's going back to Atherton Howe, which is his home school. So today's his first day back at Atherton Howe. We tried the 5-week, but I realized that it's very difficult upon the child as well as the family going through this with the transportation. So I know if I'm going through this and we went through it, I know other families are going through it as well. So this is a huge, huge win for the city and for our special education children in the city. So it'll be huge. So thanks, Joe.
Yep, as you mentioned, October 22nd, ribbon cutting at 1 o'clock, and then
I believe 1 o'clock, and then the open house around 2 or 3ish.
yeah, 2 o'clock is the open house, and folks are welcome to come by and see it. I've seen the exterior of it. It's nice, brightly painted murals there in the back.
Bright colors are great, Joe.
Looks really nice. So that'll be great for those families for sure.
It's gonna be fantastic. The other two resolutions slash, ordinances, they go into ordinance, is the Quarry Hills Advisory Committee. Council Mahoney brought this in. We had a good amount of activists there last night as well, that have been for the Quarry Hills. They've been activists. They're part of also Tree Alliance. They're also part of Walston Hill Neighborhood Association. So they reestablishing basically the Quarry Hills Advisory Committee. And it went really well. A lot of the councils were on board with it. It's going to go into oversight. And it'll really go to the mayor, and if he wants to continue to reestablish it. Had good reviews from the councilors, including myself.
Okay, yeah, I asked the mayor about it this morning, and he said he's open to looking at it again.
Absolutely, and I've talked about him I talked to him personally in the last week as well, and he's looking forward to it. So, we just listen. Government, Joe, you got to work together. I mean, I've been in office now 10 years. There's been 8 as a counselor at large, 2 on the school committee. You got to work together to get things done, and we're doing it across the city. And you're not always going to agree with each other, but you got to respect each other. That we're all elected. We've all been elected to these seats, so you have to respect where everybody's coming from. And if we work together, we're going to get things accomplished. And I think we've done that. I know I have with the mayor and with the administration, and even my fellow colleagues on the city council. You got to work together. That's how things get done, and you got to have a collective voice on some of these things, like having these the special education center, making sure that the voices are heard from the Quarry Hills advisor, the Quarry Hills situation. That obviously the 99-year lease has been taken off the table for right now. So you have to work together and get to a common consensus. But there's a middle point, Joe, and then there's a negotiation process. You have to kind of meet somewhere in the middle. I hope our government, our local level, tries to do that. And I think the mayor has been very, very good to us councils, in being open-minded, I guess I could say.
Okay. And then another interesting one regarding the marijuana zoning ordinance.
Yes, Councilor Devine and Councilor Andronico brought this in. They're in kind of the hot zones in their zoning, and it's a review of the zoning ordinance for marijuana establishments. They've been getting a lot of applications in their particular wards, Ward 2 and Ward 4. So they just want to, take another good look at it, get another set of eyes, and maybe, looking at, possible zoning ordinance throughout the city. So that will go into the ordinance committee, and we'll talk more about that down the road.
Okay, yeah, I asked the mayor about that. He also would support, looking at that again too.
That'd be great.
And that was about it, I guess, right? Some really substantial gifts, though, we should probably mention, Noel.
Yes, good gifts. I don't have the list in front of me, Joe. You probably have it in front of you. I had the 3 other bullet points, but thank you to all the donors that have given us over the years. And every council meeting, we've had some donors come in and give and provide donations, which is huge.
Yeah, the Copeland Family Foundation, $10,000 to the DARE program. So they're longtime supporters of that.
Almost every agenda that we have funding going into the DARE program, which is huge.
Sure. Next meeting coming up, Noel?
What do we have? We got one more meeting in October. I believe it's the 16th, October 16th. It's a Monday. And that'll be the last council meeting before the election. And then we'll have 2 council meetings after. I believe they're November 13th and I believe 20th. They're the back-to-backs. But this will be the last meeting of October. If there's any other committee meetings that come in, council members will let me know. And we can do other committee meetings. But right now, we're looking at 2 weeks from yesterday.
All right, so we'll catch up with you after the next meeting, if that's okay.
Sure will, Joe. And, thank you for all your hard work over at QATV. I know you've been doing a lot of the out there with the debates and the candidate nights and stuff, and you get all these different stuff. September and October are busy months, and the football games and and all those other things that you guys are doing.
That's never a dull one, that's for sure. So thank you for recognizing that. Have a good day, Noel.
Enjoy the day, Joe, and everybody out there. Enjoy these next couple days. It's going to be beautiful out.